What is going on, everyone? And welcome back to TTP Sports. And the Philadelphia Flyers, a couple of games now without Claude Drew. This is their first official game, without Claude Drew on the roster. So it does feel a little weird. I wasn't able to watch the Ottawa game a couple of days ago just because I wasn't able to watch it. So I didn't do a recap on that. Really nothing going on there. But hey, the Flyers tonight, well, today actually, against the Islanders, looked pretty decent. They played a pretty good game. Really nothing to complain about. They look solid all around. And, I guess it felt like this game as described because Mike Yeo said it after the game. It kind of feels like this game is more of, a weight lifted off everyone's shoulders just because of everything that's going down with the Claude Giroux trade. Maybe a lot of, people were thinking about that more on the team. And now that the trade is finally done, they can just focus on themselves and just focus on the game, even though the trade deadline's still tomorrow and there's still a couple of people, that could possibly get traded off this team. But more, it's just, everything that went on with Drew, his 1,000th game, being traded, just being the captain of the team. That's a lot of, things to think about for the rest of the teammates. So, hey, they stepped up. They played a pretty good game tonight. Owen Tippett makes his Flyers debut. He looked pretty solid. And granted, it's only a one-game standpoint, but he had a lot of nice-looking things today. Not bad, actually. He had some chemistry with Morgan Frost. This is probably one of Morgan Frost's best games of the season. And Morgan Frost also said it after the game, too, that him and Owen Tippett have some type of chemistry, even going back to the World Junior days with Team Canada because they played on the line together. So maybe that benefits the Flyers going down the road. Those guys have shown some early chemistry. Granted, like I said, it's only one game. You get the jitters. You get, pumped up for your first game with a new team. So you got to see how the next stretch of games goes. But the most thing I'm just looking for right now with Owen Tippett and all this stuff and all the other young guys, just keep it consistent. Just keep it consistent, and that's really the only thing I'm looking for. I'm not looking for you to score like 20 goals in 10 games or something like that. I'm not looking for anything unrealistic. I just want to see the consistency, build on every game, and just see how you grow yourself as a player and along with this team and how you grow with your teammates and to build in for next year. If you can pot in some, points, some goals here and there, albeit. So really good debut for Owen Tippett. Really can't complain about this game. So before we get into this recap here, if you are new to the channel, I definitely recommend hitting that subscribe button. I will greatly appreciate that. Also, if you are a current viewer of the channel, I am grateful for you being here that long and looking to continue that down the road. And if you're looking for any tickets to upcoming sporting events, concerts, whatever you can think of, use the code TTPSPORTS down below for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. So if you want to go see a Flyers game, even though they don't play at home for a little while, they're going on a road trip after this. So if you want to eventually, when they're home, get a Flyers ticket, go grab some. If you want to go see Sixers games at the Wells Fargo Center, see Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, go grab yourself some Sixers tickets. Phillies tickets for spring training in Clearwater. Opening days coming up. Definitely an exciting time. Go grab those. And when football season comes back, can't pass up a free $20 in your pocket. Use that for parking. Use that for something at concession stands. Use that at the arena. Can't pass that up. Use the code TTP Sports, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek today. So the Flyers, they beat the New York Islanders by a score of 2-1. And like I said, it really can't complain. A really good game. Really good game overall by the entire team. And like I said earlier, I think it's just, a lot of weight was lifted off the shoulders of a lot of players, tonight. And, with everything going on with the Giroux trade, maybe they were just able to focus on themselves now and not having to worry about whether Giroux was going to get traded or not, even though basically that was the worst kept secret in the world. Everyone knew G was getting traded. So after today, they get the weight lifted off their shoulders. They can go focus on the game now, and they can just do what they have to do. And they played a pretty solid game. And looking at Owen Tippett for the Flyers today, had himself a really good showcase. Really good first game showcase. He played with Morgan Frost, and he also played with Oscar Lindblom. He got 2 shots on goal, and there were a lot of chances throughout this game where he ripped one off the post in the second period. Honestly, it was very close to going in, but he ripped it right off the crossbar. And basically, he had a lot of chances throughout the entire game, too. And actually, the power play for Owen Tippett as well. He looked pretty solid on the power play, setting up on that. I think he was on the left side and also the right side. He had 2 good looks on the power play, one that did set up one of the Kevin Hayes goals, and one in the first period where he got a really nice shot off, and I can't tell if Sorokin got a piece of it or it got deflected. It went to another direction. But Owen Tippett, he brings speed to his game. He has an electric shot. He showcased that today. And what's good, what I saw from him, he showcased he wasn't afraid to shoot. He wasn't afraid to get to the dirty areas. And like I said, hopefully he can find a way to keep up that consistency because him and Morgan Frost showed some type of chemistry today. And like I said, consistency. That's all that matters right now because at this point, you're not going to win really much anything going towards the rest of the season because that's just how bad the team is. But find that consistency, find that grouping together, see how you can build off that for next year, and look at that down the road. And one thing that I'm also finding a little bit positive as well, besides, Carter Hart had a great game, so there's really nothing to complain about there. Kevin Hayes. Kevin Hayes had himself, he's looking healthier and healthier every game now. And tonight was one of his best games, really. Scoring 2 goals today, getting really good feeds from Konechny and Farabee. That line looked like they had some good setups tonight, especially on that power play as well. But just overall, from Kevin Hayes' standpoint, it's just good to see him healthy again. It's good that he's getting his legs back within him. He's skating well. He's, driving the net, and he looks really comfortable out there. It's really good to see that. And that the Flyers can get a healthy Kevin Hayes going into next season and a healthy Sean Couturier and whatever they get, in this draft upcoming, what pick they get. Like, say if they do, somehow land the first overall pick and somehow land a guy like a Shane Wright. I wouldn't be complaining about a first, second, third line of a, Couturier, Kevin Hayes, and maybe a Shane Wright. Even though that, I'm not going to guess anything. I'm not saying the Flyers are going to get the first overall pick. They're going to land where they're going to land. But if you get a healthy Kevin Hayes, a 1-2 punch possibly, or whatever you get this year, healthy Kevin Hayes is going to help this team a lot next year. Not saying they're going to be, major contenders, but it'll help them be better. And you got a healthy Kevin Hayes, that's going to help your team out. So looking at this game, basically, I would say the Flyers, the Islanders had their moments, but I think the Flyers were the better team overall today. Usual Flyers mistakes throughout this game. The major one in that first period where, the 4th line's out there. Patrick Brown, he tried to clear the zone. He couldn't. Casey Cizikas prevented that from happening. He takes a shot, goes in off Patrick Brown. Past Carter Hart can't do anything about that. Becomes a 1-0 Islanders lead. Flyers got a couple of power plays throughout this period. Owen Tippett, the power play actually looked pretty solid today, not going to lie. They possessed a lot in the Islanders zone on those power plays. They were getting shots off. And Owen Tippett, like I said, he has that electric shot, and he looked comfortable on the power play right there. But, still, it's that one game circumstance. So right now you got a lot of that energy going within you. You're on your new team. So not going to really overreact to this, but it was nice to see that he had a good showcase today. And with Morgan Frost, he had a pretty good game today. It looked like he was noticeable out there, which is really good to see. So hopefully they can just keep this up. So even though you're down 1-0 in the first period, you find a way to come back into this game because in the second period, it's the Kevin Hayes line out there, 5-on-5. You got Joel Farabee forcing a turnover. I believe it was from Sebastian Aho, on the Islanders side. That's Sebastian Aho, the Carolina Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho, the defenseman for the New York Islanders. I know, very confusing, right? So Joel Farabee forces a turnover, get a nice feed from Travis Konechny. He got all the way backdoor basically by himself as Kevin Hayes, and all he has to do is bury a top shelf. And that's exactly what he does to tie the game up at 1. The Flyers then eventually get another power play later, and you got a shot from Owen Tippett from the left side. It looks like it gets blocked by Travis Konechny in front, but then the puck bounces over to Joel Farabee, and then you got, once again, Kevin Hayes backdoor all by himself. All he has to do is bury the puck, and that's exactly what he does. So both Kevin Hayes' goals in today's game were basically the same exact thing. He's just backdoor by himself, getting a nice feed from either Farabee or Konechny. So, and it's a good thing Owen Tippett basically set that entire thing up, even though Konechny did block the shot. Owen Tippett did, step it up technically. So, and other things to talk about because, third period, really nothing happened. Carter Hart had to make a couple of nice saves throughout that period. Basically, just a defensive period overall. Owen Tippett had some nice looks, Rasmus Ristolainen actually driving to the net, which was very surprising to see. And basically, it was just a solid game overall for the Flyers. And, just everything there. So just looking at, some of the other players that stood out today. Mike Yeo really loved Ivan Provorov's game, and this is probably the best game Ivan Provorov has had in a while, to where he just actually looked like himself and he just wasn't making mistakes. So good on Provy. Good on Provy for doing that, just having himself a very, very solid game. And that's really all you can ask for at this point for how miserable this entire season is, miserable his season has been. Just, have a good game here. Maybe get off all that pressure off his shoulders. Maybe all the, those thoughts that he has lingering on him about, this entire Giroux thing. So hopefully, he can build off this, get better as the season goes along, and build for this to next year. Even though there's like so many other rumors right now about Ivan Provorov possibly being traded, but right now that's all hearsay. And right now, even though there's some Flyers reporters that are talking about it, right now I'll believe it when it happens. I'll believe it when I see it. But it is something interesting to talk about, and really just everything right here. I know like there's a bunch of rumors going on about now. I think Anthony Sanfilippo talked about this yesterday with the whole Claude Giroux situation. And I'll probably get more of my thoughts about this tomorrow, just because I want to focus on the game today, and I really don't want to harp on any like negatives or really harsh negatives. I'll probably more talk about that tomorrow when we do our trade deadline stream. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So I'll talk about that more when I finish a little bit with this game right here, because there's really not that much left to talk about. So really, other stats going along with this game: Flyers outshoot the Islanders in this game 37-27. Islanders beat the Flyers in faceoff percentage. Flyers go 1 for 4 on the power play, while the Islanders go 0 for 1. Not that much of a physical game. 19 hits to 12 in favor of the Islanders. A lot of block shot for both teams, though, 20-17 in favor of the Islanders. And there were a lot of giveaways for both teams in this game. So basically, it was a sloppy game. I'm not saying it's a perfect game overall, but the Flyers themselves just played a solid game. That's basically all you can ask for at this point. First star, Kevin Hayes. Second star, Travis Konechny. And third star, Ilya Sorokin for the Islanders. So really looking at the Flyers' upcoming schedule here, they are going to going on I would say, a more of a Western Conference road trip, even though one of their games technically is in the Eastern Conference. They got Detroit after the trade deadline, and then they have another 4-game stretch against St. Louis, Colorado, Nashville, and Minnesota, the West Coast teams. So you got yourself a 5-game road trip. So get yourself out of Philadelphia. You go on the road for a little bit. This is probably their first, extended road trip in a while. So this is something they've been at the Wells Fargo Center a lot lately. So they're going to be on the road for a while here. So I guess, some people that don't have to, worry about going to the games, they're going to be on the road for a little bit. And you got some, 7:30 in Detroit, 8 o'clock St. Louis, 9 o'clock Colorado on a Friday, 6 o'clock Nashville, 8 o'clock Minnesota. So yeah, they're going to be on the road for a little bit. And after this game, with the standings and all that, the Flyers, they're 7th place in the Metropolitan Division. They got 51 points on the season. They are 2 points ahead of the New Jersey Devils, who are now in 8th place in the Metro. And looking at the entire league, where the Flyers fall right here, they are the 7th worst team in the National Hockey League with 51 points. Teams that are behind them, the Buffalo Sabres with 50 points, the Ottawa Senators with 49, along with the New Jersey Devils, who also have 49. And then you got 44 points each for Arizona and Seattle. And the worst team in the NHL with 43 points is the Montreal Canadiens. And those teams are going to keep, flip-flopping back and forth, the rest of the season. So I'm not really expecting much from that standpoint. So, yeah, basically, solid game overall. Nothing really to complain about. Not really going to harp on any negatives. I'll talk about more of those when we get into the trade deadline and everything like that. There probably eventually will be a Justin Braun trade, since he did not play today for the Flyers. Chuck Fletcher scratched him just, in the case, he was traded and, to prevent injury and all that stuff. So Justin Braun, there were a couple of trades in the NHL today as well with, Mark Giordano and everything, a lot of defensemen that were moved. So Braun's probably going to get moved later, maybe rather than sooner. Could happen tonight, could not happen until tomorrow. So you basically just got to wait and see until what happens. So yeah, we're going to be doing our trade deadline stream with the Florida podcast. I don't think Chris is going to be able to join us tomorrow, just because he has class and he's going to be busy basically throughout that entire stretch of the trade deadline until 3 p.m. So he might not be able to join us tomorrow, but we are going to have some guests on, from Flyers HW. You got Jim there. You got all the crew there from Flyers HW that are going to probably join us tomorrow to talk some Flyers hockey, talk some trade deadline. So it's going to be a fun day. It basically, just seeing what trades happen, seeing what more the Flyers do with the trade deadline, and just talk some Flyers hockey and talk some, the possibilities of the Flyers' future right now, and just, everything with the turmoil of the team. So definitely stay tuned for that tomorrow. Probably going to, go live maybe around 12, maybe around 1, in between that range. Still haven't decided on that yet. So you'll see it when it pops up on the subscription feed on YouTube. You'll see it there, and I'll just notify on social medias as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you, everyone, for joining the stream. Thank you, everyone, for, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that like button. Have a great really appreciate that as always. And also, if you don't tune into this live, always check it out in the comment section below. If you know, watch the recap of this, definitely leave those comments in the comment section. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Don't forget to check out the Painted Lines, which I'm a part of. Their links are down in the description below. Also, don't forget to check out the links to BrodesMedia, the Flower.pod merch website, also Flyers Nitty Gritty. All that stuff is down in the description below. Don't forget to check those out. And also, like I said at the beginning of the video, the most important thing you do is hit the sub button, and also use the code TTPSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. And I will see you next time.